So here we are still in Wallaceburg with Mr. Logan, enjoying the unusual weather. Over there, as you should be familiar with this. There you go. There you go. Our big municipal center right there, Wallaceburg. Gotta love that optical zoom, boys and girls.
Seen a lot of people going in and out of there today.
Well, yeah, I think it's major social assistance meetings day.
Oh.
They have their appointments when you qualify for social assistance. That's where you meet with your workers. This is Mr. Logan. We were just coming back from paying bills and getting some laundry detergent. We saw Mr. Logan here, and
the never-ending cycle of paying bills.
I don't mind it because you pay them and they keep giving it to you. And I love going into the hydro bill and going, I'm here to pay my bills, and I'm all cheerful. And they're going, oh, Mr. Howes, we're so happy to see you again. Yeah, yeah.
I don't like the bills so much. It's nice when they're paid, you're right, but they always keep coming back, and it seems like they come back larger and larger.
Well, yeah, that's what we don't like, is this weird undisclosed amounts on our hydro bills.
The big okay, hydro, there's a great example.
I made one blurb about it on YouTube already, about how there was some undisclosed increases that weren't actually, well, they were increases in payment to CEOs, which we didn't really care that much for.
The trickle-down effect has now trickled down. Yes.
Yeah, and it's pretty weird. Your gas is still coming to you from out west, but it's being handled by a subsidiary of Duke Consumer Energies out of the United States.
Oh, owned foreignly.
Yeah, exactly. So if you think you have any luck in a civil court with a fellow Canadian, imagine what kind of luck you got in international court.
Yeah, no luck. Not a chance. It's interesting to me to see people driving over to the municipal building, you know, and doing what they got to do, continuing on with their day, never giving a second thought to their contributing to the problem to begin with, right?
Point well made.
No one realizes.
Well,
I shouldn't say no one, but very few people realize just consuming and doing what they do every day is actually perpetuating the same problem. We've got to break that cycle, right?
Yeah, it is a cycle. Exactly correct.
It's funny, we were talking about hydro costs, and everyone I talk to is switching to the high efficiency bulbs, the low energy bulbs, right?
Yeah.
And trying to do their best to conserve, and they see their hydro bills going up, even though they're using less, you know?
And when we see the night news, we watch them pan across cityscapes, and there are all these empty skyscrapers with lights on.
Still turning on. I was counting them last night. I got to 28 city street lights that made the park, and these little ones around the fountain that isn't running, you know, and they were all burning away all night last night. Yeah. It was a relief when the sun came up enough that it shut them off.
Yeah, we consider, you got to remember, to a large degree, we're raised to be sort of what we are. It's not by accident.
It's definitely
we're forced, we're not forced to, but it's made more appetizing to be a consumer.
Oh, yeah.
What do you mean you don't want to wear a brand name? Well, I can't afford it.
You're not good enough.
Yeah.
You got to buy Abercrombie or else you're not good enough. Every commercial you ever see tells you, you know, there's something wrong with you. You can fix it if.
Yeah, I went to graphic design, and they taught us a little bit about the psychology behind it, you know, and I thought, you mean it's not just linear leads and that? Oh no, it's what's going on. You see the beer commercials, everybody's happy and they're active, and yet you go to the bars, or most of the people that do bring them money, and they don't look like they're very active.
There's an interesting gentleman that came by last night at about 2 o'clock in the morning, and he was active. He was out and about and doing stuff, but the system has drained him, you know. He's at the point now that he decided to go to the methadone clinic and see if he can get on, they call it the drink, so that he has a steady flow of something that keeps him even, you know, that he can rely on.
Yeah. It's a bugger when you're born with a biochemical imbalance. Like, some people are born and they're just born to be alcoholics because their body won't crank out a certain enzyme unless the molecule of alcohol is present. But I don't think that's what you're talking about.
Well, the story that he was telling me, and I'm assuming it's a common one, a lot of people have taken to a prescription to manage a symptom.
Oh, exactly.
That's our healthcare,
again,
right?
We were talking about how we're raised to be a specific way. A lot of people believe that the doctors have been trained to, rather than really take care of a problem, to cover it up with a symptom.
Hide the problem.
Hide the symptom, yeah. Take care of the symptom, not the problem.
It's similar to the criminal system, you know.
I was just going to go there.
Yeah.
I was just going to go there.
The real problems aren't dealt with. It's just after it gets to the worst possible point and there's a crime, then okay, let's deal with it.
There's no collateral damage. It's just, we're not going to stop it before it explodes. We're going to let it explode. Then we're going to charge everybody in sight.
There's a guy here this morning. He said it would cost something like I can't remember the exact number. He said $320 a day. Let's say I know it was over $300 a day to keep an inmate in prison.
Oh, PC custody is even higher, $68,000 a year, I think.
I was just gonna say I did some quick math.
Average,
I'm like, wow, that's more than I make in a year.
Average incarceration, I think it's $34,000, and PC protective custody is $68,000. It's a lot. But the problem, I think, is, since you brought it up, thank you very much, is that a lot of what we're calling crime isn't really crime, but mental illness. I mean, like, one of my blurbs on YouTube was about Colonel Russell Williams, who went nuts and killed those people, tortured those women. And they've got him in a criminal court. Why is he in a criminal court? The guy's mental. There's no profit. There's no gain. Clearly. You know, when there's no tangible gain, I think we should start looking at the crime as maybe mental illness.
And the public, because I talk to people about this, and not many people want to talk about it because it's such a heinous crime, right? It's such a violation when you think that somebody could crawl in your window. And I've got a daughter. I've got a 13-year-old daughter. If somebody crawled in her window and like put on her underwear in the middle of the night, that would scare me so much I'd want to act out, right?
Yeah.
So you hear that from the public. You hear them acting out and saying that guy should have his nuts cut off or whatever the case may be.
We got to avoid vigilantism because...
they all have their own sense of justice.
It doesn't work.
And it's just like you said.
What does Nietzsche say? When hunting monsters, be careful you don't become one yourself.
That's it. That's truly it. You know, you want to be the change you want to see in the world? Okay, so we should cut everyone's nuts off. That's not going to solve the problem. Like, that creates its own problem.
And some of us are born wrong, and some of us just get bumped until we're wrong. And the ones that are bumped, we got to stop that bumping. We got to stop making monsters. And we're not going to do it by throwing people in jail.
It'll become genetic, right? As soon as, right now it's learned behavior. Now it's the nurture part. It's not so much the nature. I don't think it's human nature to kill people and to maim. It's human condition, and we end up doing that sometimes. But I don't think it's our nature. I think our nature.
No, I agree with you. If it was so first nature for us to kill each other, then people. Well, we wouldn't have all these traumatized soldiers. You'd be able to give any human a gun and say, "Go kill another human." Excellent. All right, I'm off to work.
Excellent.
But it doesn't work that way. They've all got trauma in some way, shape, or
guilt,
form.
shame. And those feelings are there for a reason. It's not like, oh, we should never feel shame. We should never feel guilt.
We can only go so in depth in our interview, but you always got to question why you're getting a paycheck for carrying a gun. I don't want to besmirch any soldiers, but like they say they're there to help people, but then why aren't you carrying a shovel? You're carrying a gun. And you weren't invited there. Nobody invited you there.
Here's my Department of National Defense identification card for Blue Cross benefits,
That's close enough to show people you're talking the real talk. We don't want to give them out your numbers, but...
Yeah, no, hey, they can have it. But they wouldn't be able to...
Give me an address to send it to and I'll be there, right?
Yeah. It's good to be back in my hometown. It's good to talk to real people.
I was up in Strathroy for a while before I had children there. Gotta be maybe 95 I was up that way looking for work. It's a nice little place. It's got a small river running through the center of it. That's really
almost
weird.
A creek, really.
Yeah.
Nothing like this one.
It's a bad place to learn how to rollerblade in, because that's where I learned to rollerblade. And it's all these hills, man. It's all these hills. Yeah, it's a nice little place. When I was there, one of the major industries made trailers, and it got burned.
Burned by... bigger business.
An industrial fire occurred and
literally burned.
Yeah.
You hear some of that happening in town too. The pizza place across the river, twice in a row.
Yeah, scandalous, interesting coincidences.
It's like it sounds like a coincidence. Oh, geez, twice in a row, and then you look at who owned it, and you see it's been 5 times in a row for the family. And you really got to wonder.
That's the sound of unusual coincidences occurring.
So the name of the mayor in the beautiful town of Wallaceburg is actually Hope.
Yeah.
That's a good name.
Well, you'll forgive me if I kind of got out of touch with with municipal politics, because it's a question of what can they do. Like, I remember somebody wrote into the Wallaceburg paper and they said the mayor should do something about unemployment. And I just shook my head and I showed my wife and I said, what can he do? I mean, what money is funded to this municipality by the government, he makes application for, and that's it. He can do with what he's given, but like, come on, this is a mayor. It's going to take Mahatma Gandhi and Superman to fix unemployment and that, because our government is not focused in the right direction. We are still far more concerned outside of the country than inside of the country. I say, if you can't clean up your own backyard, how can you clean up anybody else's?
That's a very good point. And if we have a government, that's what they should be doing, right?
Well, and again, we're talking about controlling economy, controlling employment, and everybody's going, oh no, you're socialists. You know, well, okay, well, the way we've been doing it, is this what you want? Is this really what you want?
Yeah,
look what's happened to the States here. The rich people just took them out to the cleaners, man. It's undeniable. Oh yeah, on YouTube
it's here too. It's here too. It might be hidden a little better.
Greenspan was getting loans from the Fed, the Reserve, at 2% guaranteed, and he was farming them out for 6%.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Every day.
No, he was making 4% on money that he was loaned. It wasn't even his money.
Right.
That's a good deal, bud. You can't go wrong.
It's so much corruption. And it's It's 2008. They say the crash. You know, the big stock market crash that we haven't even seen yet. They said it happened in 2008. We haven't even seen.
It's still hidden in the paper.
We haven't even seen the
It's still hidden in the paperwork, and it's trickling down, trickling down, trickling down.
It's just now coming to light that there was some fraud involved. It's like, are you kidding me? This fraud happened in 2000. You know, this fraud's been happening since...
What's really interesting is the world around us, the earth, the soil, is still pretty fertile, and everybody has no problems growing, but we are still in a state of need. It's a need. It's a need, though, that we created.
Right?
It's not a real need.
It's an artificial scarcity.
It's a system that we created that doesn't reflect physically what's really going on. The earth is still rich. It's still fertile. We can still eat. But for some reason, we're all pissed off and we're all bummed out if we can't buy the next new car.
Yeah.
I don't want the next new car. Have you seen the way people drive? I don't want to get out there. They're going to kill me.
We need primitive communities. Need to
wind
the clock back a bit.
Sociologists said that whenever you crank people together in numbers higher than 14,000, aberrations appear. Mental aberrations, social behavior aberrations.
So we're good under Wallaceburg's
we're good.
10,000, 10,050.
Chatham's screwed, Sarnia's screwed.
Yeah.
But again, you see, this would decentralize everything.
Maybe I should be in Chatham.
You see, this would if they did that, it would decentralize control, and there'd have to be more management and not control. Yeah. They don't want management; they want control.
Yeah, you're right.
Control does not encompass cooperation. Management does.
And control functions.
Oh my God!
Control functions better with less.
And I've only got 15 minutes on a YouTube account, so we may have to restart the clock on this. Hey, Jake. You know Mr. Logan?
Yep.
Well, we saw Mr. Logan here, and as usual, I had a camera, so.
How are you, sir?
Good. How was your night last night?
It was okay. Yeah. I'd like to be off the ground a little higher, but it works. I'm glad I'm not wrecking the grass at all.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna, we chatted a bit, and you know exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna upload this to YouTube. It's good to see you,
I stopped
man.
at your house. Your wife.
Oh, wow.
That's why I came up with this.
She's probably waiting for me because I have the laundry detergent.